Okay, so today we're going to convert polar equations. And so to do that, we're going to use the same formulas that we used when we did polar coordinates. So we know that x equals r cosine theta, y equals r sine theta. And so this is, if you're going polar to rectangular, and if I'm going from rectangular to polar, then arctan of y over x is going to equal my r, oh, not my r, sorry, my theta, and x squared plus y squared will equal my r squared. So those are the equations you're going to need to know. So the first equation we have says r equals 2. So we have an r, and we need to go to x and or y. So if I have an r and I want to go to x's and y's, the equation you have for that is r squared equals x squared plus y squared. So r is 2, so 2 squared equals x squared plus y squared, which means 4 equals r squared, or x squared plus y squared. And just a fun little tidbit, so if I wanted to graph this really quick, I'm going to graph the rectangular first. That's a circle with a center of 0, 0, and a radius of 2. So it would be right here. The cool thing about this is that the polar graph right here, the polar equation simply says r equals 2. So that means I must be on ring 2, which is the same ring right here. So same place on the graph, same exact picture. So it doesn't matter if you're in rectangular or polar. Okay, let's do our next example. So this one's a little bit trickier, just a little bit. So I have theta equals pi over 3. So I have a theta, and I want to go to x's and y's because this is a polar to a rectangular. So the equation we have for that is that arctan of y over x equals theta. But I'm going to go back to the original where it says tangent of theta equals y over x. And here's why. I'm going to plug in tangent of pi over 3, because that's what my theta was equal to, equals y over x. Tangent of pi over 3, remember you can use your little hand trick, or you can remember the ordered pair at pi over 3 is 1/2, comma, root 3 over 2, and you can do the y divided by the x. You're going to get root 3 equals y over x. I'm going to multiply my x over. So I'm going to have y equals x root 3, which is the same thing as y equals root 3 times x. This you may not recognize immediately, but this is really y equals mx plus b, where my b is 0 and my m is a root 3. So this graph would just be a straight line. So this would have been my 45 because it's in the middle. This would have been my 30. And this would have been my 60, or my pi over 3. So this says theta equals pi over 3. So you are simply this line right here. Okay, one more. So the next one says r equals secant theta. Okay, so I need to take my r's and my thetas and make them become x's and y's. I'm going to, I don't know a lot about secant except for its cosines from, so let's see if that helps me. You should always try something. Secant is equal to 1 over cosine theta. I'm going to multiply this cosine over. So I'm going to have r cosine theta equals 1. Look at that coinky dink. R cosine theta is equal to x. So x equals 1. So if I graph this, I'm going to have the equation x equals 1. X equals is a vertical line right here. So it would just be this straight line. Pretty cool.